Hi, I'm Graham. Welcome back to Man vs. Film. This is going to be a Blu Ray review for Trespass from 1992, released by 101 Films on their terrific Black Label range so far. This is number 5 in the series, and this is one of the movies probably the most excited I've been for one of the releases so far. Trespass is a movie that I know a lot. I've seen so many times, particularly when it came out in the video stores in the early 90s. It was one that I rented so many times. So I was so excited to see this movie, a movie that I hadn't seen in a number of years. And I'm so glad that it really just held up to the lofty opinion that I had of it. Now, if it's a story you haven't heard of before, it is about two firemen, Vince and Don, played by Bill Paxton and William Sadler. When they are attending a fire rescue, they stumble across this man who gives them a treasure map and then promptly dies. And these guys look into it and discover that this was actually a robbery of a church. Real gold was stolen and never recovered. And they decide to track down, using this map, the gold to get their riches, to fix their life, the small problems that they have in their lives, to move on from that. And they discover that the building that it was hidden in is now a dilapidated tower block in the outskirts of a city, and amongst a place where nobody really goes to. It's just been left, forgotten, to rot away. And when they get there, they stumble into the middle of gang warfare. They see a gang murdering somebody, and the gang pretty much wants to wipe out the witnesses. That's about all the plot you need to know. Two of the gang members are played by Ice-T and Ice Cube, and the rest of the gang are played by notable character actors. I've seen them in lots of things before, and they all do great work here, as usual. And that's the basic story of the movie. You just have these guys trapped in a room, and they don't have a way out. It's not a location or a place that they know well. It is a place that the people who are after them do know well. And we get to see kind of both sides of the story as things get tense and the suspense gets ramped up and the action gets crazier and the temperatures sort of rise as these people get flustered and angry and just want a finale to this situation. That's all I want to tell you. That's about the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, and then it just plays out from there. I think it's a terrific movie. It's one that I said, you know, I've seen lots of times before, and I do love it. And thankfully, it wasn't one of those times where you throw the movie on and it doesn't live up to your expectations. I remember so much, but there was so much I had kind of forgot as well that was reinvigorating to watch again. And I do think it really holds up particularly well. And that's primarily down to the director, Walter Hull, who really knows how to handle these kind of movies terrifically well. Did 48 Hours, The Warriors. He knows these kind of urban settings, the kind of gang culture, the unlawful side of life, and he deals with it in such a really nice way, layering up, giving little visual clues to what's going to happen, tailoring the action perfectly well to whatever situation is unfolding. And he creates a really interesting, fun, entertaining 90-minute action thriller. And I love it because of that. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great movie. I'm so happy to have this disc because it's going to take pride of place in my collection. It's a movie I love, and it held up, which thank goodness, because you know what, I'd have been devastated if it didn't. Now, the disc itself is fantastic. Yeah, if you've got one of these Black Label discs, you kind of know what the packaging is going to be like and the booklets and that, but it's the content on the disc that really just elevates a lot of these things. So this, we have two commentaries, one by a pair of film journalists who rhyme off their CVs at the start of their commentary, letting you know their credentials, and they have some interesting topics to discuss about it. And two fans from Mondo, I think it is, who really get into the nuts and bolts. That they're obviously very fan-worthy about this, and that's the kind of one that I was more interested in, rather than the sort of cold journalistic take on it. It was more the sort of fan culture and how they just liked certain scenes, how things had played out, and I thought that was really terrific. There is several featurettes as well. There is a 16-minute unlawful entry one with Phil Canton, the producer of the movie, basically saying how he got everything pulled together, how Walter Hull added to it, how the script came from Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis, of all people, the guys that did Back to the Future, and how it was written years before that, and it didn't really have to get updated much to fit into the current climate. And they also discuss throughout the extras as well how the social politics and how real world situations were affecting the actual movie, and how it probably held it back from being a bigger success than it should have been, because this should have been a fairly decent movie. You get a 12-minute interview with William Sadler called Phil's Gold, and it's nice to see this retrospective interview of the man who, one of his rare leading roles, talking about Bill Paxton, who's obviously passed away, and his experience on the film set. It's a nice, interesting addition to this disc. And then we get Born Losers, which is a 12-minute featurette with Bob Gale talking about how him and Zemeckis wrote the script, where it evolved from there when people came onto it, and his idea of what held it back from being a bigger hit than it was. And again, these three featurettes are all pretty fun, pretty entertaining, and they zip by fairly well, and they've all got fairly nice information. Some of the information's a little bit overlapping, but ultimately, it's another great disc. It's another disc that I'm really happy to have in my collection. Love Trespass. I really hope there's people there that have seen it. If you haven't, I hope you pick it up. I'd love to know your opinion of it. Hopefully, you'll love it as much as I do. And if you let me know in the comment box below your thoughts on this disc, this package, this movie, I'll get back to you. I'll let you know what I think as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man vs. Film.